Okay, the report just gave us reviewing administrational costs, job position, etc. A lot of this part was asked by me. Now, what I just saw was that you just basically took a report and blacked out everything. I mean, the Freedom of Information Act looks into all kinds of stuff, military stuff, and they give information. You just basically abstracted it all and poof. Now, I don't care necessarily about anybody's specific name or their address. This isn't a terrorist request.
That was what was asked. I'm just saying.
This, you could give me a title, the degree requirements, the job this description, what they have to do for everybody involved that I asked for, who does these particular jobs. And the equipment that's owned by, I want to know about the equipment owned by the government, but a lot of that equipment over there is owned by the government.
No, it's not actually. It's owned by the...
All right, but we should be able to ascertain the value of that equipment so that we can look into alternative ways of doing things, like Roosevelt did when he went in and he built various infrastructure in this country 50 years ago. We had the people, we have a lot of people out of work.
All right, so Chuck, what are you actually asking?
Well, I'd like the actual answer so I can compare what it's costing to alternatives. How can anybody look at an alternative and make a cost analysis of what you're talking about, a 47-year project, as I recorded at the $15 million funding level. I'm looking at what Buddy says here. He's talking about training our kids and our people. If you have 47 years, like I said before, you can take 6th graders, run them through the school system, run them through Bristol Community College, run them through UMass Dartmouth's engineering department, put them out in the field and get the job done in about half that.
We can provide some costs. And, you know, if you really want us to, you know, redact confidential
That's the word I was looking for, redact.
Then,
I don't care about people's names.
Okay, well, if you want,
but to ascertain what's required to do the job.
We provided people's information last year.
Right.
Okay, that was done. It was a request from Buddy.
Okay.
We provided that information. The other thing is, if you really want a whole redacted cost sheet from us, I suggest that you send a FOIA in. Because so, Freedom of Information Act.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So what I would love, can I borrow a mic for just a second? What I would love is
we will combine that with your injunction, right?
Just let's make sure there's some greater specificity about the request, right? So at least that has come in loud and clear, right? So what I heard about a request, which is similar to the request previously, was you wanted descriptions of the jobs, the job description, right? And you wanted some idea around the equipment, okay? I just want to make sure we've nailed that so we know what the request is that you said. That's the most important piece.
Well, conceptually, the simplest way, what I'm trying to find out is what it actually takes to do the job in terms of intelligence and personnel and equipment, okay? Then I'm looking at the time period, 47 years at $15 million a year, okay? And I'm looking at that's ridiculous. I'm looking at we have as good a workforce in mines in New Bedford as the rest of the world, and I'm sure that we could clean up after ourselves if we knew what we needed to do. We could find those people out there that are looking for those jobs, and instead of giving them cleaning up jobs with this green labor, they're going to have them stuff people's walls with insulation and these very low-level jobs as all the federal government and the city of New Bedford can see for our people. But we think they can do what any of you can do. We think the bell curve applies to them like everywhere else in the world, and we would like the opportunity to assess how it's done and figure out a program, as Buddy was forwarding in what he said a little while ago, so that we could figure out how to do it. Because 47 years, after how many years already? I know that in the 70s, when I was in college, we were already protesting PCBs. And then when you guys took it over in 82, we were happy. But now what year is it?
This is a chart.
47 more years?
This is a chart.
There's got to be a better way.
This way we help you understand the process and the companies involved with cleaning up the harbor. And all of these have specific people, specific jobs and functions that are in this process, from the dredging, from the trucking, from the monitoring, and up through EPA getting the money, giving it to the Corps, the Corps giving some to Jacobs, Woodhull does the environmental monitoring, they sub out some of that work. Severson does the dredging. Again, there's laboratory, there's transportation costs, there's EQ. This lists all the companies, where the local unions are, where the local operators are, okay? Which local operators, which local laborers are, all the analytic services. This lays out the whole process within this harbor cleanup, and all the companies that are used, and where the staff are that make this thing work.
And the point I wanted to make with this is that here is where the major workers are here between these two unions. But there are also many jobs being created to all these other agencies here, these other subcontractors or assessment contractors. All of these here are providing jobs or people on the site to do something within this job site. These two pieces are the local union guys that are represented here tonight. But we're also saying that here in Jefferson, he's also bringing a number of people from out of New York that's also taking jobs to local residents. I think to about 40 people, at least that's the number that was given to me. But we're also saying in our proposal, not just picking on Severson and Jacob, but what about all these other subcontractors that are making $400,000 off the project per season, and creating interns and training and OJT amongst all of this. So not one person getting, including EPA and the Army Corps of Engineers. They could use interns and people working at the Sawyer Street site or whatever. So what we're saying, this is what I'm trying to get to the people in the audience who are watching it on TV. We're not getting our value here. And all we're saying is $200,000 would create a training program for 5 or 10 individuals in the city of New Bedford, out of our high school, whether it's the Haven High or New Bedford High, vocational, or even Bristol Community College or UMass Harbor. They would get on-the-job training, they would get pre-training through the Career Center, on-the-job training, working May through September, August on the site, and then from September through May in school at Bristol Community College or UMass Harbor, simultaneously doing internships in these so-called other companies that are on site. That's what we're recommending. And we know that the government is low on money. Doggone it, Jacobs, can we squeeze $50,000, $60,000 out of you, the Army Corps of Engineers, EPA, to create something that's going to show for the long-term sustainability for our community to create people in career paths. We're going to be doing this, we're going to be standing up here for 20 more years doing this. Trust me. And if we can't develop a training program like that, then we're short-sighted, and I'm not going to allow us to be short-sighted.
Thank you. Okay. So, I appreciate these comments. These are the key comments that need to be shared in these meetings and these venues. That's what these meetings are for, right? We have reached, unfortunately, the end of our meeting tonight, right? Because we're literally out of time. So unfortunately, there's pieces of the agenda that we just didn't get to tonight, unfortunately.